Hey there, welcome in. My name's Josh, and today we're talking about artistic style. Now, every artist has their own style, whether they're aware of it or not. But the thing that baffles me is that so many young beginner artists are just obsessed with finding their own style. Or even worse, when they claim poor craftsmanship as style, where like their proportions are wrong, or their perspective is wrong, or something is like factually incorrect about their piece, but yet they're like, oh no, that's just my style. Stop that. No, you're wrong. It's not your style. That's just an error. That's just your insecurity masked as an excuse. No! All style is just a culmination of your personality, your preferences, and your life experiences put down on the page. So with that definition, like, everybody has a style to some degree. But it's just when you're young and you're still trying to figure out what your life experiences are, what your preferences are, and who you are as a person, it's only natural that they're desperate to determine what their artistic style is. Like this, you can't even hope to determine your artistic style until you determine who you are as a person. So just put that on pause for a second and figure out who you are first. And if you're a young artist watching this and you think you know who you are and you're under the age of 25, you probably don't, especially if you're a guy, because our brains physically don't fully develop until we're 25. So just take it, like, you'll get your style eventually, like, it's fine. The evolution of an artist's style is slow and natural and just happens over time progressively as you continue to discover more about who you are and what you like and what you don't and why. The other thing you have to realize is that you can't fight your personal style. Like, because it's a direct expression of who you are, you'll always have it. So even if you're copying somebody else's style, just by the act of you copying it makes it yours to some degree, because you can't perfectly copy somebody else's work because you're not them. Think of it like cooking with ingredients. If two chefs use the same ingredients to cook the same dish, they're going to taste a little different. Even if they're the exact same proportions, the exact same everything, since two different people made it, it will taste slightly different, even if they use the exact same recipe. So to keep the food metaphor alive, when you're trying to find your artistic style, when you're trying to find out what you like and what you don't like, it makes the most sense, actually, to start with the buffet line instead of going to the grocery store. In other words, you should start by looking at other artists' work and what they do and how they do it to find out what interests you and what you think looks cool. Like, there's no shame in looking at somebody else's style and looking at something else that you think is amazing and being like, that's sick, I want to do that, that's awesome. And then when you're deconstructing it, when you're looking at the ingredients of that buffet line, when you're trying to figure out how this artistic piece is made, you will inadvertently, accidentally, just so happen to find yourself in the grocery store looking at the ingredients. Meaning, you will just so happen to be learning about value, to be learning about perspective, to be learning about composition, to be learning about all the fundamental foundational skills of why this buffet, why this art piece tastes as good as it does or looks as good as it does. So by copying the greatest sin in the art world, by deconstructing and actually trying to learn why it looks cool, all you're doing is just figuring out how things are made, and you're finding out new recipes and new ingredients for you to use on your own. If you do this enough times, you'll end up finding yourself with a lot of ingredients, a lot of skills, a lot of preferences, and a lot of just general knowledge of who you are as a person, who you are as an artist, why you like it, why you don't, and that's fine. Why is there some shame in that? Like, look, if you copy somebody as somebody else's work and you think it looks great and you make something that's heavily inspired or influenced by something else, like, that you should honestly share the root thing that inspired you instead of so often like, oh look, I made this all on my own, aren't I such a good... It's like, shut up, why are you afraid or ashamed or trying to hide the fact that you used a reference, that you were inspired by something, that you copied something, that you used somebody else's technique that you think looks cool? Like, shouldn't you celebrate that? If you are actively trying to hide the fact that you copied somebody or were inspired by somebody, that's just misleading and, you know, that's shame. Like, why? Own it. Why lie about it? Because first of all, it's obvious. If you copy something and you say you made it by yourself, everybody who knows anything will see right through you and be like, no, actually you didn't, because this is clearly influenced by this. So just admit it. There's no shame in that. You're figuring out who you are, you're figuring out what you like, what you don't like, so just go out and copy things and be honest and say that you're copying things. The reason people don't want to do that though is they feel like it makes them less of an artist. It's like, yes, you are less of an artist, you're starting out. Like, why do you feel this pressure on yourself that you should be able to make something from scratch that looks as good as the person you're copying? It's like, bro, you're still a kid. Even if you're old, you're still a kid artist. You're still a young developing artist. So where's the shame in learning from people who are better than you and deconstructing it? Like, That's fine. As you get better, as your grocery list expands, as your ingredients list expands, as you figure out what you like, what you don't like, and why, and everything else, you'll be able to make your own pieces, and you won't have to say you used a reference or used a copy because you didn't. But not using a reference, not using a copy, not being inspired by anything other than yourself, that's top tier. That's like God level top tier stuff. Like, but every artist wants to think that they can do that from the get-go, that they can just create from imagination. It's like, bro, no, you suck, you're still starting, that's fine. Just freaking copy somebody who looks cool and deconstruct it, figure out what you like, what you don't, and why, and how they did it, and continue to learn. As you get better, you won't have to use copies, you won't have to use that stuff, but when you're starting out, yes, use it. They're tools. Don't have the shame in it. Just say that you copied it, say that you were inspired by it, and how much you learned. Your style will progress with time, so just relax. Your style will establish itself the older you get and the more you paint and the more you draw and the more you create. So just relax. It's fine. Just get this pressure off of yourself, copy from other people, be inspired from other people, and be honest if that's what you're doing. When I say copy, I'm not talking tracing. I'm not talking, don't be stupid. Like, use them to learn from them. They're tools. Like, honestly, that's kind of a compliment to the other person that you're copying. Like, if I made something great and I knew some noob out there was copying my work because I thought it looked so cool, why would I be offended by that? The only reason I would be offended by that is if they tried to cover up the fact that I was their inspiration, or I tried to cover up the fact that I didn't use the reference or I didn't copy them and it was all original and all me and all my style. It's like, shut up, dude, don't kid yourself. Like, that's just insecurity, that's all that is. It's okay to learn. It's okay to be inspired by things. The more you learn, the more you figure out what you like and what you don't and why, the easier it'll be for you to make your own stuff. But that's at the end, that's later, that's at the end of your journey, like much farther down the road, not for beginners. So just admit the fact that you're learning and being inspired from other people. Celebrate that. I don't know why it's somehow turned into some element of shame here in the art community. It's kind of nuts to me. I don't understand it all. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Go out and learn, go out and copy something, go and learn from them as you copy them, figure out more about yourself, figure out how they did it. It's a great learning experience. Use it as a tool to better yourself as an artist. If this video has helped you, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, comment a second time to build some community so we can all talk and encourage one another, because that would be great. For more about me, be sure to check out my Patreon and my Discord. I'd love to have you. I'm super biased, I know, but I think it's amazing, and we're continuing to grow and learn and encourage one another, and it's kind of my favorite thing in the world right now. Like, I probably spent 3 hours just talking to patrons yesterday about art and learning and things. Like, it was really fun to do, and I was like, I've been talking for 3 hours with these people just about art. Like, this is amazing, and we're all learning and growing and having a good time. Like, join us. It's a lot of fun. Just check us out. And then for more personal about who I am as a person, be sure to check out my Instagram and follow me on all of my socials. Thanks again for watching. Again, remember, you can do it. Go copy somebody, learn something, figure out who you are as a person. Cannot wait to see what you create. I'll see all of you next week.